Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Sorry, I always have to do those really weird welcomes. Facebook Live tends to stall when you go live. Anyway, welcome. If you are new here, welcome to Shin Kicking Mondays. I'm your host, Berni Xiong. And if you are joining us again and returning as a live audience member, welcome back. So glad to have you here. Oh boy, if you're new to this session, everything is off the cuff. There is no specific agenda. The only thing that we tend to do here is we start with an intuitive channeling slash guided meditation for the group, followed by free public readings for whoever's here and who's interested in getting a reading from me or receiving a random intention from me. Um, That's why whenever you come in here, it's kind of, what are we going to do today? What messages are going to come through? And who the heck does this lady think she is? So, if you are joining us for the first time, as I said, we do free intuitive channelings, but we start with a guided meditation and intuitive channeling for the group. And how that typically works is I guide you through the meditation that we do together as a group, and then I follow that with an intuitive channeling that comes through me. And what I like to tell people is that when I do these intuitive channelings, I get these divine messages that come to me in the form of whether it's a stream of thought or whether it's a picture playing in my mind or whether it's just this knowing that I have or I feel like I have to say something. And it's really interesting because I don't necessarily hear or see anybody in particular. It's almost as if I'm quickly downloading information that's coming to me from sources that I'm not quite sure of. And many times the sources are really you. If you're here live, I really grab the energy of what's going on in the room. Sometimes it's me connecting to my higher self, and sometimes when I'm making a connection with you, I'm helping you to connect to your higher self. So with that, that is typically how these um, intuitive channelings work here in the Brave Bear community. And so my gift to all of you who are able to join us, whether it's live or coming back on a replay, my gift to you is offering you the opportunity to make a connection to your higher self or make a connection to your own divine wisdom team, because it's so important for me to know, um, not important for me to know, but it's important for me to feel like I am helping you all as a conduit to make that connection, because sometimes it's not always easy for people to do that. And so with that, I hope that I am doing a service to all of you by being that conduit, by being that channel, so that it gives you the courage and the curiosity and the confidence to make that connection yourself, beyond this session or beyond anything that we do here in the Brave Bear community. So with that, very, very long welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. I just want to say hi to everybody who's here joining us live today. If you are joining us live, go ahead in the comment box, say hi, tell us your name, and tell us where you're joining us from in the world. I'm here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota in the US of A. We do get people joining from around the world, so let us know where you're joining us from, and we're going to go ahead and keep this interactive throughout. But let's just go ahead and get started with the guided meditation and intuitive channeling for today. All right, so wherever you are, whether you're seated or lying down, let's go ahead and get comfortable. Okay, I'm sitting in a chair, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of lean back a little bit. And if you're feeling any tension or if you're feeling kind of wound up, it is Monday morning when I tend to record these, and purposely so, um, because I realize how stressful the week ahead could be, as well as maybe all of the things you didn't get to over the weekend. So go ahead and Get yourself comfortable however you need to. Let yourself sink into your chair or into your bed. I like to roll my shoulders. I like to kind of roll my neck back and forth. And feel free to close your eyes at this time as well. And let's just do some deep breathing to get us centered and focused and ready for the channeling today. Okay, inhale through your nose. Hold the breath. And then exhale deeply. Push all that air out. Push out the tension. Push out any negative energy. Let's go ahead and do a deep breath in through your nose again. Hold it. Push it out through your mouth. Push the breath out as long as you can. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. All right, you can go ahead and do that one or two more times yourself as I start talking and guiding you through this. What I really like about these Shin Kicking Mondays, if you've been here before, I've admitted that I don't always make the time to pause and breathe throughout the day, especially if it's a busy day, doing a lot of work or running errands. And for those of us who are in the service industry, and by that I mean the business of serving people, helping people, whether you are a counselor, a consultant, a coach, a trainer, a teacher, a caregiver, a parent. Sometimes we don't make that time for us to catch our breath, to recharge, and to get our energy back. I was going through one of my Facebook memories a couple of days ago, and in one of the memories, I can't even believe I had forgotten about this. It was about 10 years ago. I'd made a post in Facebook saying that I ran out of gas on my way to go get gas. And I completely didn't even remember that memory until I read it that day. And it made me think about maybe where I was in my life 10 years ago versus where I am now. And literally, quite literally, I had run out of gas on the freeway on my way to go get gas. But when you think about it metaphorically, how often do we do that to ourselves, that we run out of our own gas? We let our tank go to empty before we find that moment in the day to collect ourselves, to recharge, time for self-care, time to breathe, time to rest and get our energy back before we go and do the next thing on our to-do list or the next person we have to help. And I found it really interesting that you see the fuel gauge on your car, so you can see that your car's going to be empty. The little yellow light turns on. And I was trying to get into the psyche of past Bernie's brain 10 years ago. What in her brain said that it wasn't time to go get gas yet, and that she still had enough time to go get gas, even though the E gauge came on, right? The yellow light came on to say, go get your gas. And so it really made me think about that really hard, that we always think we have more in us than we do, right? Quite mentally or psychologically, we think we have more to give than we do. And our body many times tells us, go and recharge now, go and refuel now, and we don't listen to it. We don't pay attention to it. And then what happens? Our car breaks down on the side of the freeway. Quite literally, it happened, you know. And, I can joke about it because it was just my car. It's just a ton of metal. But our bodies, we only have one of our bodies and one life in this lifetime at least that I know of. And if we're not taking better care of our bodies, of this one engine we have in our lives that keeps us going, who's to say that one day when we think we have enough energy in us, we don't and we run out and we might not be able to refuel that day because we've run ourselves down so bad. So that's something I really wanted to reflect on as we're doing these guided meditations because I'm going to use the word forcing because I think sometimes many of us need to be forced to do things, including myself. When we force ourselves to make time for ourselves, which I think can be a good thing, um, there are no more excuses, right? If we schedule in these times to take care of ourselves, kind of like these Monday shin kickings at 10 a.m. Central Time. If I didn't schedule these even for myself, when am I making time for myself to pause, to breathe deeply, to reflect on things, to intuit things, to make a connection to my higher self, to make a connection to my divine wisdom team, right? To recharge and to refuel, essentially. Other than this, there are some daily ritual, uh, I guess, routines that I have, but they tend to be automatic. I think we do need to schedule in time for self care. And so I'm glad that I have these Mondays as a way to schedule that self care. But what if we didn't have this? When in your life, and I'm asking you guys this specifically, when in your life are you making time to breathe, to relax, to rest, to recharge, to refuel? And if you're not making that time, and if it's not happening, I encourage you to start scheduling it ASAP into your calendar as if it's an appointment. Because you don't want to be running out of gas on the side of a highway when you clearly can see that you're running out of energy. You've got to pay attention to it. That's a lesson to myself as well. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get through this guided meditation together, and then let's do a group intentional, I can't talk today, intuitive channeling. All right, by now you're probably breathing normally. Let's go ahead and let's use that empty tank as an example for us to do a guided meditation today. Imagine that your tank, which is your body, is on empty, kind of like an empty cup. Imagine yourself filling that cup up with beautiful, sparkling water, fresh, gorgeous, clear with a little tint of blue water. You're filling that cup up gently and slowly. You can hear the water pouring into the cup. You can smell the freshness of the water. It feels nice and cool, not too cold, just the perfect temperature. And the water is filling and filling and filling that cup. Imagine yourself, and maybe you don't have to imagine it, maybe you are tired from a long weekend. Maybe you are drained from running errands, even this morning or throughout the weekend. Imagine that cup filling up, kind of like filling up your gas tank. You're re-energizing, you're refueling, you're allowing yourself to say, okay, you know what? This is my time for me to get myself back, to get my energy back, to get my fuel back, to restore anything that I used over the weekend. I just imagine that cup filling up all the way to the top. How do you feel right now? Do you feel full? Do you feel whole? Do you feel recharged? If not, just sit with that full cup for a little bit. And you don't necessarily have to have a specific sensation or a thought. If there are thoughts that are coming to mind, let them come to your mind. What are you thinking about? Take note of that. Are ideas starting to come to mind? Let the idea come, take note of it, and then let it go. Is there something on your to-do list that you're worried about getting to? Let that thought come to mind, take note of it, and then let that go. Are you feeling any emotions, worry, sadness, anxiety, guilt, happiness? Let those emotions come one at a time, and then let them go. How does it feel to have a full cup again? Whatever thoughts, feelings, or sensations you're having in response to that question, let them come. And then slowly let them go. The goal is to be right now. This exercise is not meant for you to have a specific outcome. It's not meant for me to guide you towards something that I want you to experience. The goal of this exercise is just to have you be in this moment, to have you pause, to have you relax, and to have you stay connected to your higher self. Because if this is the only moment you get today or this week, so be it. You're going to make the best of it. All right, let's just breathe a couple more times deeply to get out of this meditation. Stretch if you need to while you're slowly coming out. Keep your eyes closed. Whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Thank your higher self. Thank your divine wisdom team. Thank your loved ones, if any of them came through while you were meditating. And just really allow yourself to be in this moment. Don't revert back to the anxious and go, go, go person before we came in today, including myself. Let's surrender to this moment and let's just be in this moment together so that we can allow whatever messages that want to come through today. All right, so take your time, and within your time, feel free to open your eyes and we will start the group intuitive channeling. And if you're new here, this is the part where I start channeling for the group. Whatever I'm seeing, hearing, feeling, or sensing, I'll share that with you guys here. But in the meantime, if you saw, sensed, heard, or felt anything during that guided meditation, feel free to let us know in the comment box. There is no right or wrong insight. And sometimes we second guess the things that come through to us. But this is especially the time to share it with others. Something might be coming through that could resonate with somebody else. And so while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and channel for us today. I'm going to scribble something real quick. Sometimes when I scribble, I'm able to get some more divine messages to come through. I'm getting a lot coming through, flooding. Um, it's kind of like bottlenecking because there's a lot coming through. So I'm going to try to telepathically ask some questions to see what else wants to come through. Something might just push through all of the noise right now. There's a lot coming through though. I'm getting two song lyrics that are coming through, two completely different songs. So I'm just going to say both of them and then I'm going to unpack this a little bit more. The first one was, I don't know if this is even a song, but I know it's song lyrics. The first one was Dare to Dream. It was the first set of words that I heard, Dare to Dream. And I feel like these are a set of lyrics from a song that I learned back in high school when I was in choir. I'm going to have to go look it up eventually because I'm not sure what the name of the actual song is. I think it was kind of like a gospel song or something. But one of the lyrics, one of the verses was Dare to Dream. And then following that thought, I had another thought come through really fast, and it was that song by I think Whitney Houston. I know him so well. Um, I'm just going to do a quick search here because I feel like there is a title to that song. I think that is, unless that is the title to that song. I know him so well. Not that one. There's one with Whitney Houston. Interesting. Okay, so check this out, everybody. There's a song called I Know Him So Well by Dixon and Elaine Page. And as I scroll down, the next song was called I Dreamed a Dream by Elaine Page. Okay, very interesting because I'm not sure that I know who Elaine Page is. But that's so interesting to me that one singer, and it looks like back from the 80s, she must have been an 80s, pop singer or something, or maybe gospel singer, that she sang a song called I Know Him So Well, and also she sang a song called I Dreamed a Dream. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps here. I Know Him So Well and I Dreamed a Dream. Okay, I'm going to unpack these two because that's very interesting. Um, and maybe there's an older version that Whitney Houston sang a rendition of. So maybe the original singers of I Know Him So Well, one of them was Elaine Page, who also sang I Dreamed a Dream. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm getting for the I Know Him So Well. It's not necessarily a song about like love and breakup, and him could be even yourself. It could be someone else. It could, and it's not gender specific. It's about knowing, thinking you know somebody so well, um, and then them disappointing you or setting an expectation about somebody, thinking that you knew them well, and then later on realizing that you didn't quite know them as well as you thought you did. So it's kind of like having your own set of beliefs that weren't necessarily true. I think what's important about this song coming through that I know him so well is sometimes we put our faith in others and they can sometimes disappoint us because they fall short of our expectations of them or they don't reach that potential that we believed we set out for them, right? Maybe we're the ones creating this image of them that they never really admitted to. Um, and what I'm gathering about that is sometimes the disappointment and the heartache, because it doesn't have to be an intimate partner. It could be a friendship. It could be someone in your family, you know, like a parent or a sibling or a child. And I think that when we set these expectations of others and we dictate how someone should be or um, expect a certain outcome when the person's never signed up for it, I think that we do ourselves a disservice because we're creating a narrative that perhaps doesn't even exist. It might not even be a true narrative. And I think that the danger in doing that, the danger in creating these narratives and expecting someone to live out that narrative, again, that they've never signed up for, they're not well aware of, is that we can damage our relationships with people that we care about because either we're too hard on them or we didn't communicate to them properly or we make assumptions about people without asking or without directly figuring it out ourselves or we're making judgments about others when it's really not our place to make those judgments, right? We can discern, but we should not judge. So I think the whole premise of I know him so well is about asking us to take a look at what we do know about a particular person or a particular situation versus what we don't know. And are we doing something dangerous by creating a narrative that is not necessarily true in the eyes of everybody involved? Maybe it's true in our own eyes, but perhaps it's not true to the complete situation if you have the big picture, right? So be mindful and be careful and discern rather than judge. Because when we do this to others, what we're doing is we're also judging ourselves. When we judge someone for not being more of something or not living up to a particular set of expectations that we have for them, what's unfair is that A, that person didn't sign up for it, but B, many times it's us looking in the mirror ourselves and we're judging ourselves for not living up to our potential or not living up to those expectations. So the narrative we create for other people is really the narrative we're creating for ourselves. And when we put the mirror up to ourselves, it's us that we're looking at that we're disappointed at. It's not the other person, right? Essentially, it's not, though we think it might be. So I know him so well is about using discernment, not judgment, and setting real expectations that are in your control rather than expectations for someone else when they didn't even know about it or didn't sign up for it. And then again, lastly, is um, I lost my train of thought. Um, Narrative. Creating a true narrative by taking a look at the big picture and not just your point of view. Okay? Look at the big picture, not just your point of view. Now, I'm trying to make sense too of this I dreamed a dream. Actually, it is making sense that I dreamed a dream is coming in because what's happening is many times we're dreaming about these big things and we're having all of these expectations and we're seeing ourselves at the end of um, at the end destination and getting to that big vision that we have. And I think that many times what happens is we think that it's a straight shot, and that you're kind of like kicking everybody out of the way to get to the end goal. But the reality is there's a lot of people that we need to be lifting up as we get to that end goal, as well as people who are lifting us up as we fall down and move towards, keep getting back up and moving towards that big goal. So I think there's two parts to this. It's the making discernment and not judging others, creating a true narrative by looking at the big picture, and not setting expectations of others, only expectations within your own control. But then that dreaming thing, that I dreamed a dream, we need to be careful about how realistic we are dreaming. And what I mean by that is it's great to dream big, but we have to realize that getting from where we are to that end destination to reach that big vision dream, that big goal, it's going to take many people in our support system to help us get there, as well as us helping others to get to their goals. It's not a one woman, one man show. So we can't abandon those who have been there for us and who continue to stay in our corner as we are headed towards that big dream. We need to let those people in too, and we need to um, realize that there's gonna be the ebbs and flows that we're gonna experience as we're getting to that big vision, and we can't and we it, essentially we can't stomp on people to get there. We need to lift people up as we get there. We all want to get there together. Let's lift people up as we get there. Okay? So it's great to have a dream, but it's also great to continue to support and help and serve others and show up as a great human being who wants to help and support others to also get to their dream. And I want to narrow down this message because those are two very long um, song titles, but I know that the intuitive channeling that's coming through is very guided. It's very specific. So let's make it more succinct and concise, okay? I know him so well, and I dreamed a dream. I dreamed a little dream. Um, I keep hearing know self, know thyself. I don't talk that way though, so it's kind of weird. Know yourself, know yourself. I keep hearing the dare to dream. Dare to dream, but remember who you are. That one just came out of nowhere. Dare to dream, but remember who you are. Dare to dream, but remember who you are. which I think is huge. I think that's going to be the intention for this week. Dare to dream, but remember who you are. And I think it goes back to that empty tank that I had in my car, right at the beginning of the session. I was so caught up on where I was headed, right? Literally quite headed. Um, and I wanted to get there, and I kept procrastinating on refueling. I was so focused on getting where I wanted to go that I forgot to get gas. Like, how can you get somewhere without refueling? And I really think this whole dare to dream, but remember who you are, is also saying take time to not forget to take care of yourself and to not forget to take care of others. We're trying so hard to get to that end destination. We want to get there fast, we want to get there successfully, we want to do well, but we can't compromise our health and lose steam and, you know, deteriorate our bodies and make poor choices out of desperation just to get there. And the procrastination for me was probably a form of desperation. It was probably like, I got to get to the next meeting, I got to get to the next thing, I'll do the gas thing later, I got time, don't worry about it, let's just go 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 get this stuff done. And then I ran out of gas, the car ran out of gas. Same thing with us. Just one more thing on this to-do list, just one more call I need to make, just one more person I need to help, just one more customer I have to contact, right? Before we make time for ourselves. It's okay to dream big, but we can't lose ourselves in the process of that. We can't lose um, focus on taking care of ourselves, um, being kind to ourselves, as well as being kind to others. Like I said, we hold a mirror up when we look at others and we judge them, right? Or we neglect them. That's us judging and neglecting ourselves too. So we need to be mindful about how we are making time for ourselves as well as for others, because essentially that is our mirror as we continue to move towards our big dreams. So dare to dream, but remember yourself. Dare to dream, but remember yourself. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure you guys are getting a whole bunch of intuitive hits yourself as you guys are listening to this. And I know when I play these things back, it actually doesn't sound as bad as it feels when I'm channeling. But when I'm channeling, I feel like I'm all over the place because there's so many things that want to come through. So I apologize in advance if it does feel a little distorted or kind of all over the place. But if you go back and hit replay, um, things will start to make sense as you're, picking up the pieces and connecting the dots. And what I have found is if I go back sometimes, I'll notice that throughout my week, I experienced some of the things that we talk about in these Monday shin kickings. It's like, oh yeah, I remember the thing that came through on Monday, and then it happens throughout the week as well. So sometimes come back and replay these because it's really interesting to see how things play out the rest of this week based on what we talked about today. All right, with that, um, dare to dream, but remember yourself. Okay, be kind to yourself, guys and gals, and be kind to others as well. Take care of yourself. Do not let that that tank go empty like I did. Um, I don't think that's happened ever since. Okay, that being said, I'm going to go to the chat box real quick and say hi again. And if you're just joining us now, go and say hi to us in the comment box. Tell us who you are, where you're joining us from in the world. And then now is that time of our Shin Kicking Mondays where I ask you guys to go ahead and either leave me a question or tell me that you're open to receiving an intention from me if you don't have a specific question. And what I do is I intuitively channel to help you guys figure out what are some of the insights or guidance that is coming through today to help you to get the support you need as you're making decisions or as you're trying to find clarity in your situation or as you're just trying to get yourself up and running today, especially if you're having a difficult time. Okay, so use the comment box to do that. Now is the time to do that. All right, so in the comment box, hello Charmin from Louisville, I love it seeing you here. Hello, Julia from Chicago. Shin kicking Monday to you too, dear. Hey, Tony. Hi, Tony. Tony's um, former clients from a long, long time ago when I first started. So it's so nice to see you here, Tony. Julia's talking again about thoughts of self doubt have been distracting you. Usually happens when things are going well. That's really interesting. I think that will come up today too. It's true. Sometimes we think that distracting thoughts happens when things are going bad. But many times what can happen is when where things are going well, we can often try to self-sabotage because it's like, no, this is just too good to be true, right? Okay. Um, Charmin, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Yes, it's so true. And part of the intuitive, guidance, I didn't mention this part, but I'm going to say it now. Then there are some people in your lives that should just go. Toxic people in your lives who shouldn't be there, who don't do you any service. In fact, they hinder your progress. Let those people go. But the kind of energies I was talking about in the intuitive channeling was really about um, us being hard on ourselves and us being hard on other people when maybe those people are meant to still be with us and meant to still connect with us and meant to be a part of our support team. We need to be kinder to ourselves and kinder to them as we move through, whatever challenges and dilemmas we have in life. But very, very good observation there, Sherman. Hi, Marcel from Connecticut. Julia is reminding us, dare to dream, but remember yourselves. Great message. Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys took away something from that. Like I said, sometimes these things come through and I have to make sense of it right in front of you guys. So I put myself on the spot because I'm doing a show like this where I am forced to intuitively channel as it's happening, as I'm getting downloads, and as you guys are seeing and hearing things yourself in the moment. But I kind of like that. I like the challenge of doing that because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me um, continuing to develop my intuitive skills too if I put myself on the spot like this and try to make sense of it in front of you guys. And it's a good challenge for me, and I love the accountability. So thank you all for being here. Anybody have a question? Please feel free to use the comment box to leave a question. If you're not quite sure what question to ask, let me know you're open to receiving um, a message or some intention. So please do not be shy. We've got about, 10, 15 minutes here. So let's go ahead and use this time for you guys. And that's what I'm here for. As you guys are doing that, I just want to kind of give you guys a heads up to, as we're getting closer to the holidays, as well as the new calendar year up ahead, I want to continue to do these shin kickings, but I'm going to have to think about the scheduling and I'm going to have to think about the frequency just because, some things in my schedule are going to be changing soon as well. So keep an eye on the Brave Bear Community Facebook page. I'm going to be putting a poll out there to ask you guys questions about, how often do you want to see these? Do you like Facebook? Do you like Zoom or do you like a different medium? Um, what kind of things would you like to see? What kind of things do you enjoy about these? What kind of things could be better? I just really want to gauge your interest because I want to make sure that I'm still showing up, but I need to show up in a way that will um, accommodate, the things that are coming up for me this next, you know, few months to the next 2021 calendar year, as well as for all of you too, and accommodating all of your schedules and your needs too. So keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, please always just chime in and feel free to direct message me anytime you guys have any ideas or anything comes to mind. Okay, I really appreciate that about you guys. It's your honesty and your openness and your willingness to provide feedback and give me suggestions is always very helpful. Okay. So, anybody with a question, anybody who needs an intention, please feel free to do that here. Otherwise, I'm just going to start seeing what is coming through randomly for people. Okay. So, I'm going to shut up now, chug some water, and wait. Okay, since nobody's biting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shift my energy a little bit to see if there are messages that are coming from spirit for anybody. And so if any message seems to make sense to you, let me know in the comment box, okay? If not, I'm just going to go ahead and channel any messages that are coming through. And hopefully it makes sense to somebody. Okay, so I am getting the spirit of an older woman who is no longer with us. Um, she's showing an image of her kind of like in a like a oh gosh, what are those dresses called? The button up um um I'm not sure what kind of dresses they're called, but they have buttons that go all the way up from the bottom to the neck, and it's kind of like a if you kind of think like a I'm picturing kind of like Alice from the Brady Bunch. Um, but it's not in this image. It's not a uniform, but it's similar to the uniform that Alice used to wear in the Brady Bunch, where she had like that dress that would button up and then it would stop right at the knees, and it was kind of like um, fitted in the waist, kind of like belted. A frock? Yeah, maybe like a frock. Thanks, Jabril. I'm really bad with like. It's funny because I majored in fashion design many years ago. You would think I know my fashion, kind of like a frock, yeah. And anyway, and so this woman, her hair is kind of up like in a French twist, and she seems to be in her, I want to say, late 60s to maybe about earlier mid 70s, and very put together, very pristine, um, and just very joyful and happy. She loved to bake. She loved grandchildren. She loved doing parties and hosting, and she was very maternal, um, very hospitable. She was very great at hosting people and taking care of people. And she has a very positive light energy. I'm hearing, and I'm trying to, I'm telepathically asking her name, like, what's your name? What's your name? And I'm hearing like Emma, or like Amma or Amma, something like that. And she is coming through very. Here's the interesting thing about her. Her appearance would make her look like she was a stay-at-home mom, or that she was really involved with her family and caretaking. But she's got this confidence in her where she commanded attention. She was like the boss of the house, or it seemed like in a former career she was in charge, she was the boss. And what's really interesting about that is it's she's got this duality, um, of a personality in her, where it's like she's soft and gentle and grandma and sweet and very maternal and very loving, but then all of a sudden she's got like this fierce, like tough, um, I'm the woman, in charge, I'm the boss, and kind of scary in a way if you put her in a boardroom. And the energy I'm getting is, this image I see of her is from a long time ago. I want to say like probably the 70s. So she would have passed several decades ago. Um, so it potentially would be maybe like if somebody was living today, it'd probably be like a great grandmother or a great great grandmother to somebody today, who's coming through. If none of this sounds like it's for you guys, if you can think of anybody who this could be coming through for, um, she is Caucasian, and she has kind of like a I want to say like a blondish gray hair that's up in the French twist. And like I said, I keep hearing Emma or Ama. And so let me see what kind of message she wants to bring through, because I think she is trying to leave a message for somebody. And it doesn't sound panicky, it doesn't sound urgent, it just sounds very gentle and like, I'm here. Like, don't worry, I'm here. Um, okay, so I'm hearing names like Jenny or Jean. Jenny or Jean is who she's trying to reach. Jenny or Jean. Um, Grandchildren. Jenny or Jean. I don't know if those are two people or if that's one person and the names I'm not quite getting. Jenny or Jean, the grandchildren. She wants to say hi and that I'm okay. I'm fabulous. And she says it just like, I'm fabulous. Yeah, she was very well put together. Never left the house without looking great, without having her hair up and done well and dressed nicely. It seems like she's trying to come through to say, I'm proud of you for how far you've come and how hard you've worked, and you've always tried to be a good person, and that makes Ama or Emma. I don't know if it's a nickname for grandma. It makes her proud, because that's the one thing she would want to leave behind as a legacy, is the kindness. She would want someone to be kind. She would want the people in her family to be loving and kind to people. That meant more to her than monetary successes or financial successes. That was important too, but she said if there's anything that she would want people to walk away with in her family as a legacy that she left behind, is the kindness in their hearts and being good civilians, being good human beings to other human beings. That was really important to her. I'm hearing something like Jewish. I think they may be Jewish as well. This is always so interesting. Um, oh, hold on, I'm looking at the messages here. Okay. Jennifer Ann. I had a great grandma went by grandma. Oh, wow, that's so cool. All right. Jennifer, does the description sound like her? I'm picturing that French twist, kind of like blondish gray hair. She would have probably passed in the late 70s, maybe early 80s. And she was like a great grandma or a grandma figure. And I keep hearing like Ama or Emma. That's really interesting to me. Let me know. And she was saying something about being Jewish. I don't know if that makes sense or not. That's really interesting, because I never know who's showing up, and I never know who's here in the live audience either. So it's always really interesting for me to see who's coming through. But okay, so I'm just going to keep channeling and seeing if there's more that she wants to say. Um, but she's just saying, she's talking about how being a good human being is the most important lesson that she learned in her lifetime while she was still here, and that being a good person is the goal to achieve. Um, that it's more important to be a good person and to be loving and to be known for being a good person than to be known for how big your bank account was or being known for status. And she's trying to tell she's trying to tell anybody who's striving to do well in life and striving for success. She wants to encourage you to redefine what success means to you. And success should not be how much money you make, the kind of title you can put behind your name on your resume, or what social media says about you, or, Forbes top list of 100 whatevers. She is so adamant about talking about being a good human being and giving back and serving and continuing to do that, because she said that that's something that she did in her life. And though she was successful in her career, she said that she was most successful at how she took care of her family and how she served the community and how she served other human beings. And she walked away feeling so wonderful about her life because she knew that she left behind that legacy of doing good and being a good person. I love this grandma. She's amazing. Okay. I'm gonna read the comments because I just want I'm not a mind reader, so I'm just trying to get some validation so that I we make sure that we're on the right page and that we're getting the message to the right person. So let's see. Jabril also says sounds like my grandma Rosemary as well. Oh, that's cute. Oh, Jennifer says she passed in the late early 80s, early 90s. I don't think she was Jewish, came from Hungary in 1920, would have her hair up, and I only knew she had gray hair, possibly blonde. That's so interesting. Oh gosh, it gives me goosebumps. Okay, Jennifer, what I'm going to ask you to do is to, um, if you can, go back to your family who would know anything about her and see if there's any Jewish at all in your ancestral history. I'm curious whether she married into a Jewish family or whether her parents were Jewish. I'm not sure why I had to say Jewish, but there was something about Jewish. And I think that the reason it came up in the channeling was because I was feeling this whole why did it matter to her so much to be good to people? And I could kind of hear her thoughts go, it was a Jewish upbringing is what I heard. So I immediately went to a place of, okay, well then it sounds like she is Jewish or came from a Jewish family because it was instilled in her from a young age to, be a good person, do good in the community. So if there's anything like that you can find out, that'd be really interesting. But I did hear Jenny or Jean as grandchildren or great grandchildren. So I'm really curious to see. I do feel like if anything, this message is probably closest to someone like you because based on what you're saying here to validate, I am sensing that it was a girl that she was talking to. And maybe you have another sibling or a cousin or something who has the Jean name. I don't know, but I did hear Jenny and Jean. Okay, so let's see what else you're saying. Grandma raised my grandfather and then raised my dad and aunt. That's so cool. Oh, what a wonderful human being. Okay, well, I think that's all I'm getting from Amma or Emma. So we'll let her go back. But um, what a beautiful message. I love it when I get these goosebumps because to me it's making that connection, and me hearing the message as well is so powerful because um, I walk away with clarity about certain things, and I apply many of these things that I'm hearing and seeing and sensing into my own life as I'm living day in and day out as a human being. I may have these intuitive connections and I feel more connected to my higher self, but I also at times feel like um, I need that guidance too because I'm a human being, having this spiritual experience once in a while, but I want to have, you know, sometimes I feel so human that I wish I could connect more spiritually than I do. But it is nice to see when these messages come through because it allows me to be a better human being as well. So thank you for that, Amma or Emma. And, Jennifer, thank you for all the validation. I really hope that message gave you some comfort or peace or clarity. And I'm sorry it was so disjointed. Um, let's see what you're saying. That's so awesome because you're like, she was kind and could be tough as well. That's awesome. You didn't want to cross her or interrupt Lawrence Welk's show. That's awesome. Oh, I love it. Okay, great. I can't believe how much time has passed, you guys. We're already at 11 o'clock, and I do have to be going. But I do hope that message was meaningful and helpful for you, Jennifer. And we would love to hear if you get any more insight from your family as much as you can to find out more about your great grandma. Um, that's amazing. That I find that so fascinating. So, anyway, well, guys, that's another shin kicking Monday. This is probably one of the most disjointed ones I've had, and maybe it went better than I thought it did. But I love it when these messages come through that teach me so much too about being a human with the spiritual experience that I'm going through, and I hope that it's doing the same for all you guys. Okay, so to remember then for today's intention, it is dare to dream, but remember yourself. Dare to dream, but remember yourself. And for any of you that might have some follow up questions or anything else that came through that you were too shy to say here, go ahead and send me a direct message or reach out to me and let me know, okay? I'm always curious to see what you guys are experiencing. And then look out for that poll to come from me. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions and seeing how we can improve Shinkiki Mondays. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for joining me today. Take care. Have a wonderful, lovely week ahead. And I'm thankful and grateful for all of you. And thanks again for being here on Shinkiki Mondays. Until next time.